Hi, everybody. Welcome. If for the first time, welcome, welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, hi again. How are you doing? Okay, so genuinely, how are you doing? There's a couple of huge shifts in the last few days. And remember, I was saying about this kind of feels like September into October is had this kind of New Year's Eve feeling, like stepping off the map a little bit in October. Well, that's kind of echoing a little bit true over the last few days. So I just wanted to bring you an energy update. There is an awful lot going on energetically at the moment. And this is the beginning of the ramp up, really. And that's going to look like lots of change, and change comes through challenging our perceptions and our beliefs in a safe and held way. And it can be quite triggering. So I just want to kind of bring you a bit of a Monday morning quickie to give you a flavour of the here now energy. And we're very much with the here now, and there's really strong guidance to stay in this moment and be really mindful of where your mind wanders forward into the over there that you have no control of, that can be triggering, or the back there, where there's an energy depression or an anchor that's pulling you back, and just notice where your mind is, and be very much in the here now, because that's all we've got, really. So the sentence that keeps coming to me, I think since about last Wednesday or Thursday, is the eyes can only see what the mind is willing to conceive of. And I've actually written that out, so it's in my field, manifested in my field, and that will help me spot my boundaries and limitations. That will help me notice when some radical new concept comes in, or some challenging energy comes in. It will help me notice what narrative I move to. And again, we bring in the curiosity of a child. And I want to reiterate again and again and again, we are training. We're at the school studying the module called Learning How to Be. Bear with me, I forgot to plug a certain thing in. Learning how to be in the unknown. So how can I be in the not knowing? And how can I relax into that without my mind wanting to go forward and figure it out and write a plan for it, or monetize it, or turn it into something, or do what we humans do? And how can I just sit in that energy? So when we sit in the energy, then we can work with our intuitive selves, we can work with our higher self, with our inner wisdom. And we can really start getting in touch with what kind of world do you want to live in. Have you thought about that yet? What kind of world do you want to live in? I'm being sent the most amazing things. It seems my higher sense actually using Netflix now to point me in a very specific direction. Well, there's two timelines, which are just fascinating. And I'm watching this series, which on the face of it is just a American political drama, but it's beautiful, and it's challenging my stereotypes, and it's showing me government with honor. Yeah, it's slightly utopian, but I can feel that vibration of love. So whatever created that, the writers and the producers and the directors are repainting American government in a way that has grace and honor and compassion and understanding. And it's the story of, I think it's called Designated Survivor. Check it out. Kiefer Sutherland. What a sweet guy. And it's about the unexpected, the wildly unexpected, you know, and this guy who was a housing minister finds himself president overnight. The eyes can only see what the mind is willing to conceive of. So he's got choices. He can go into full trigger with that and block himself and stop himself and limit himself. Or he can bring this curiosity to it and go, what the fuck? What the fudge? What do I do with this? How do I manage this car? So yeah, there's going to be some lovely energetic challenges as we release old narratives, basically. So what you know, I've been speaking about cognitive dissonance recently, kind of the right and the wrong and the good and the bad. What I'm seeing now actually is the higher mind and the lower mind coming in to the frame to meet. And yeah, I'm getting the words vibrant and active, dynamic, challenging, or wow, that's a strong word, obtuse, heavy, leaden, yeah, that's So we've got the higher mind, the higher wisdom, and the higher will meeting the lower mind and egoic knowing, as opposed to higher wisdom, egoic knowing and projection, and self will, my will, what I think I want. And they're going to be meeting. We've got a lot of challenging energy in the system. I'm not doing astrology. There's another big world opening up for me there, and I'm not even going to speak into it. But it is going to get challenging, and that's the idea. And guess what the first card out today is? Again, that's 65. So 65 is today is looking like achieving balance, that balancing 6. Achieving balance through change. I'm already in 2021 because, man, the energy feels way different to just 10 days ago, a week ago. It's faster, very mindy. I mean, just, yeah, getting grounded and staying grounded is again another cycle of, wow, this is a challenge to, you know, not be bumping into walls or literally seeing white dots because I'm so far out. So yeah, it's very mindy. So the first, I think we had this, didn't we? And the cards have been shuffled. So yeah, achieving a new balance through change. 5 is change. 5 is the energy of change. 5 can look back and look forwards and hold that center point as it rocks back and forwards, taking the best of that and learning to work in the not knowing of that, even though I can probably see something, and fusing those together, bringing those together to rebalance in that energy of the sacred 6. Beautiful. Whales, dive deep. And in the deep there may be darkness, but in the darkness there is mystery. There is, I think, I don't know, many videos ago I started talking about the big reveal, and the big reveal is going to start in the personal. It started. This year's been colossal for me. I know of others I could confidently speak for who have gone through such a transformational change this year. It's all been internal, you know, building that cathedral. So we have 4 cards out. And then when I flip the deck, the underlying card is just like, wow, this is a beautifully clear message. So, yeah, okay. I'm just going to rearrange the order of these. Yeah, okay. So that 26 reduces to an 8. That 26/8 is giving me feels like diametrically opposing experiences where both can be true, you know, both can be true. So learning to embrace the in-between, the bit I don't yet know, is where we're going to move more deeply into our intuitive knowing, sensing, feeling. You know, we can keep singing the same song because we think we know the best. And we can keep projecting that old story that the world is out to get us. But that's old Piscean. I was just checking myself there. I wasn't going to talk about astrology. Yeah, that's old energy. That's the old victim martyr energy that we're moving out of this year, you know. This is the start of moving into this higher minded, collaborative, building energy, respectful, compassionate. It's a reconciling energy rather than a combative energy. It's the end of I'm right, you're wrong. And the beginning of, that's interesting. I have a completely different viewpoint. Can I share it? You know, we're growing up. That's what it is. We're becoming mature. So, yeah, embracing the in-between is, yeah, I'm seeing a triangle now, actually. Triangulate it. So we've got the pole. I'm right, you're wrong. Let's say that's the pole. I'm threatened, you're threatening. Say that's the pole, because that's where the energy is going to go. It's really going to trigger us if it hasn't already started. If you triangulate it, then you throw it into a different energetic expression. So the energy of 3 is expansion. And kind of it's the Triskelion, it's the triple goddess, it's the Holy Trinity, it's the Mother, Father, Child. It's the masculine, feminine union. It's that energy of the 3. So if you find yourself in this diametrically opposing pole, where you've only got choices of one or the other, triangulate it. What can you bring to this? Well, there's one suggestion. Bring a third point called the in-between, and I don't know, but just bring that and feel in your body how that shifts the energy. Okay. Feel in your body how that shifts the energy. Just to give yourself permission to add a third ingredient into this conflict called, that's the in-between. So, okay, already. So the in-between is turning to a balance point. Okay, so this is how we do it. So we build the field and we let the field then teach us. So the field now wants to give me the word balance point. So we've got the pole. And when we triangulate it, you know, if you look at the energy of prayer position, let me just tip that down a bit. Prayer position. I'm making a triangle. Okay. Prayer position. That's a triangle. That will expand all the upper chakras. It's not just done to look pretty. There's a geometry about it. So yeah, triangulate the opposition to create a different balance point, because but it only stings according to our perception, doesn't it? It only stings according to our experience. It only stings when something same or similar has previously wounded us or stung us. So when someone hands you a trigger on a plate, you've got the lower mind, fudge you. You've got the higher mind. What's this teaching me? What is in me that's responding to this? What harp chord just got plucked and is hurting. It's yours. Take ownership of it. It isn't them. If a them comes in and triggers this, it has to be in me to get triggered. It has to be in me. Go. I own it. What's in there is none of my business. What is in them and caused them to trigger me is none of my business. But in the system, my thanks. It's always my thanks. It's always my thanks goes to them. So yeah, sometimes life does sting. 64, 10:1, opportunity for rebirth. You know? Yeah. God, do I bring that in now? Yes, I do. Okay, so the 10 in this, so 64 adds up to 10. What they're showing me, the 10 is, I'm getting the words ancestral void, because there's some ancient stuff coming through the system. Ancient. And if you're a person that works in the collective, then you'll know this already. You'll already be working with this. And so often, if you get triggered, it might be your ancestral memory that's being triggered. And you can work with that. You can still work with that. You know, your higher self has your back. And if you trust the intuition that you're exactly where you need to be, when you need to be there, doing what you need to be doing, if you trust that, that will help you move into flow state, out of lower questioning mind, untrusting mind, victim mind. Rise up, rise up, rise up. Because in the lower mind, they're for me or they're against me. I used to work for a boss that said, Chrissy, if they're not for you, they're against you. And I nodded, but I never, ever agreed with that statement. There's so many shades of variation along that pole. But if I triangulate the pole and go, well, it can be something else, then that field will form because I've created a space for it by pointing my mind towards it. My minds. Oh, that was interesting. So yes, sometimes life stings and it's your choice whether you stay in the personal with it and react, or whether you just come up above your timeline a little bit into a different level of maturity and observation where you're able to see a bigger picture, and where even depending on what level you're working at energetically, you might even be able to track that pain back. Oh wow, God, yeah, I used to see that in my parents, in my grandparents. You know, look at this, wow. I noticed that. We have the wasp and we have the bee. This is why we're doing all of this, to build a new hive. To make honey. And that's going to take a lot of refusing, a lot of using information in a different way, a higher expression to build the world you want. And your heart knows that. Go into your heart. What do I want? What do I want? You know, when I'm working with a client and they're so entrenched in the mind, and in the mind there are only questions, in the heart there are only answers. When they're so entrenched in the mind, I'll pause the session and I'll say, what does your heart want? It's always the same or similar answer. Joy, freedom, peace. It's always the same. Nobody says, I want a £40 million business. Nobody. I want a better car. That's not what the heart wants. So if we're not building that in every moment, then we're not building it. You know, this is where we have to challenge our behavior. We have to be what we want. That creates the outgoing broadcast, which, guess what? Helps it manifest in the system, brings it back to you, and then you keep generating like a little power station. like a little power station. So yeah, life stings, but sweet results await. Stay with it. And I really can't say that with enough love. I can't say that with enough love. Stay with it. Stay with it, because some will just want to give up this, is it dark, is it light, fight. It isn't a fight. It's a recalibration of energy. It's just a recalibration of energy. But to do that, we've got to challenge what's getting us stuck. Got to challenge our own limitations and be really honest about that. Be really honest about that. When we're down in the personal, dealing with the humdrum of life, the nonsense and the rubbish, the news, the, you know, the virus, commerce, politics, education, nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. It really affects us. It can really affect us. But when you rise up above your timeline, and I'm talking about really just moving your energy, picture your timeline and just come up above it and notice what happens in your body. It will ease the inner conflict. That can be the simplest movement to peace. You know, and there is a real guidance this week to just keep stum. Because if you get triggered in that moment, you may not have the wisdom and the grace and the compassion to know it's time for you to heal that. In that moment, you might want to hit back. You might want to fire that email off. You might want to ring that bugger or send a rotten text that you will later regret, because basically you've got a beautiful heart. We all have. I've never come across the exception to that. Never. We're all doing the best we can with what we've got, you know. So find peace. If peace is the only thing that you can use to triangulate the conflict, reach for peace. Wayne Dyer always used to say, today I choose peace. It's my choice. Every moment of my day, my week, my year is a choice. And sometimes I'm mindful in that, and sometimes I'm mindless and reactive. Mindfulness will get you into a responsibility, being responsible to make the choice that's going to elevate the system. And you're the system. I think I mentioned this like 20 videos ago. Porcupine. Time for beginner mind. How beautiful is that? Beginner mind kind of requires the ego to be stood down in a way that allows the blinkers off. Remember, the eyes can only see what the mind is willing to conceive of, but if the lower egoic mind has taken control, we need to stand that down. Okay, we need to stand that down with love. It's tired. I'm seeing this more and more and more. One of the pieces of work I found myself doing with clients, which I've never done before, is to invite them to stand the mind down. And the emotional release it creates is really surprising. It's profound. What, permission to stand my mind down? And it's like the mind is like, it's almost like I can hear the mind say, oh, thank you, I'm so exhausted. I'm so exhausted. You know, we've helped create and drive and embed a societal programming that has brought us so far out of our heart's desire, so far out of our soul blueprint, that we live in the mind. You know, we feel with the mind. So to get back into the heart and into the sensory perception, the intuition, wearing a blindfold confidently, we've got to stand that mind down. Because when the mind is stood down, then we can move into beginner mind. And beginner mind is childlike state. What is this? Is that, what is it? What is that? It's a pair of glasses. Are you sure? Are you sure? I remember once going to a workshop, and one of the first icebreakers was to name as many uses for an umbrella as possible. And it was fantastic to see what happened to the creative mind. It switched on. Children, adults turned to children. It was utterly playful. And I think the winner got like 47 different uses for an umbrella. So, beginner's mind, what is this? And notice where your mind goes. It's glasses, it can't be anything else. Okay, that's lower mind. Hello, lower mind. Well, it could be an allow. Allow that creative side to open up. And let go of needing to know and let go of expectation. Be in the not knowing. That's where we're going to get our answers to build this new something, this different something. I don't know, but I know it feels better. I know it feels much better than the life I've grown up in. It feels much, much freer. So, yeah. Oh. That feels beautiful. The energy in this card feels beautiful. This is like a gift. I've just taken this off the bottom of the deck. This feels like a gift for the tired mind. Time to heal. Time to heal. Rest the mind. Rest it. That's beautiful. What a beautiful card to end on. So, my beautiful souls, I'm just going to leave you with that image, and I'm going to gently say bye for now. I'll see you again soon.